we will get started. I'll mute out everybody. We're recording everything, so we can get this thing out to everybody later. My name's Chuck Hanson. I'm in Wilmington, North Carolina. I'm one of the co-founders of iHub Global, along with John, Michael, and Rick Cotton, our CEO. And you know, this Tuesday night meeting is really the nuts and the bolts, right? It's the nuts and the bolts. It's how everything is bolted together, screwed together. And, you know, Michael does a great job. I call him the professor. Michael does a great job of, you know, outlining everything and keeping it in a systematic and numerical way of going through the information. So, you know, there's a lot of different moving parts here. As you can imagine, we've got thousands of pigs, we've got tens of thousands of affiliates, and a lot of things happening all at the same time, trying to get the right addresses and get these things shipped and on and on and on. But, you know, we're putting together some incredible systems that will allow even people like myself, who I consider myself a technology, novice. You know, I look at something and most of the time it looks very difficult, but, you know, what we're seeing is a simplified methodology of getting each and every one of you to, I hope, somewhere where you want to go. And I hope that somewhere includes a six-figure income. So that's where we're going. And I'll tell you what, after you guys hear the news on Thursday night, you'll be jumping off your chairs. I want to see a lot of, you know, jumping and screaming and hollering on Thursday night. So Michael and I have been friends for 30 years or more. I don't know. I knew him when he had hair, but you know, he's out in Scottsdale, Arizona. They chased me out of there a long time ago, but Michael was my upline in my second network marketing company that I was ever part of, and he lucked out. He got me, and I helped him make millions of dollars as a result. But and we're going to do it all again, but we're going to do it with lots more people this time around. So Michael, why don't you take the show and run with it? Give everybody, and what we're going to do, guys, we'll go through the information. I'm going to open up the chat so you can put chat there, but the chat will just come to us and then we'll answer those questions. How's that? So Michael, take it away.
Sure. Hey, Chuck, thanks a lot. What we're going to do, everybody, tonight is go over some of the basics, as Chuck was saying, the nuts and bolts, kind of explain some of the details. We want to make sure that you're comfortable getting to where you need to go to put the information in that's going to get you the outcome you want. The outcome could be having your unit arrive at your door. It could be having Helium arrive in your Helium wallet. Those are two good outcomes that you want to have. And we are very, very close to processing June. So all the Helium that was created and in the month of June being distributed through our commission structure, that's getting ready to go out. So it is important to make sure if you want to actually receive some of that this particular cycle, to make sure that your Helium wallet address is in your back office. So we're going to cover that a little bit. There's a lot of little things that we can do, but I think some of the most important things is revisiting the Helium wallet, revisiting the provisioning to make sure the right address is in the system, and then also taking a look at the options for those of you who had ordered the 6-pack through iHub, a couple of different options relative to that in the light of our iHub 2.0 model that we are in the process of rolling out. So why don't we go ahead and start with the wallet? That's pretty straightforward. Let me go ahead and share my screen here, and we'll get that out of the way. Um, so if you haven't set up your Helium wallet, you want to go to either the Apple or the Google Play Store. You want to go ahead and install the Helium app. It's got this Helium logo that looks like this when you get there. There's a few different things that have the word Helium in it. It's not the dating program or anything like that. We're looking for Helium Hotspots. You want to go ahead and install it and open it up once it's installed. And when you do that, you want to go create an account. Now, what this is going to do, initially, it's going to set up your Helium wallet. If you haven't done this, go ahead and do it. If you've got a unit that's generating Helium tokens, or you've got team members generating Helium tokens, you want to really make sure that you get your wallet into your back office so that you can actually receive some HNT. It's really quite amazing when that happens. It really brings everything into the real world experience. So you create an account, and it's going to start by generating 12 words. Those 12 words you want to write down sequentially 1 through 12 with the word. It's going to start with 1, and then you kind of slide over to the next one all the way through 12. And then it's going to ask you, have you written these down? You want to click on that. And then it's going to test you. It's going to bring up, say, number 3 or number 4 with the question marks, give you a list of words, and you got to pick the word that actually corresponds to that number on your list, that 1 through 12. This one would be whatever the word is for number 3. And they'll do that. You want to click on it when you find the right one. They're going to do it again for 3 other additional ones. And then once you do that, it's going to ask you to set up a PIN code, a 6-digit numeric code. You'll do that, and you'll confirm it. And then you're pretty much done with setting up your wallet. The next step in that app would be if you were going to set up a hotspot, which we're not going to be talking about right now, but a lot of people are getting those. And that would probably be a good training call maybe for next week, is to start giving people insight on getting their units up and running and all the things associated with that. So once you get this in, then you want to click on this bottom icon. It looks like 2 kind of arrows facing each other. You click on that, and that takes you to your Helium wallet. And then what you want to do is you want to click on this icon at the bottom, which is the kind of the green arrow facing the individual, icon of an individual, meaning to receive Helium. And that'll help get you to the point where you're going to go ahead and it's going to give you your Helium address, your receive address. And it's a long string of characters, numbers, lower and uppercase digits, characters. So you don't want to try and write it down. What you want to do is you want to copy it. Okay. So basically, when you get to there, if you click share, and this is on an Android, and maybe a little bit different on an iPhone, but it'll allow you to choose. You can copy the address. You can share it to your email account, which I think is a good idea. That way you can, bring it up and then copy and paste it into a Word doc or something that you keep track of your important IHub information. And then you're going to have to enter your PIN to do that, and then send it to yourself in an email. And then you can copy that address. And then you're going to go ahead and go into your back office and put it in there. And why don't I just do that real quick? Give me a second. I'm going to, let's see. We'll just follow that. When you go into your back office, down here at the bottom in green where it says, click here for your commission back office, as Chuck was saying, somewhat in jest with John, we do have a couple of different platforms that we are somewhat integrated with, but down the road will be probably fully integrated. But right now we're kind of straddling 2 different platforms, what we call our sales and marketing platform and what we're calling our commission back office. But there's a whole lot more going on than just the commission back office. But when you click on that, it will give you a kind of a temporary password that was assigned to every person so that they can transition from the sales and marketing back office to their commission back office. What you want to do is you just go ahead and copy and paste that temporary password, put it into the password field, and then click login. And then when you do it, it takes you over to your commission back office. And then what you do is you click commissions, you click now e-wallet, and then it's going to take you to the screen where you're able to paste that address that you had in your email address or that you shared to a document before. Now, it's really, really important to make sure you get that in there completely. What's always a great rule of thumb in dealing with any cryptocurrency wallet address is pay attention to the first 3 characters and the last 3 characters. And that way you know that you've copied the entire address and didn't leave something out. What do I mean by that? In this case, the first 3 characters are 13 capital N, and the last 3 are 5 small h small m. So that when you copy it, look at it when you're copying it in your email, your Word document, paste it in there. And then what you need to do is you need to confirm that you want to be paid in HNT rather, at the address that's there, and that it is a valid and correct HNT address. Now, the issue with cryptocurrency wallets is that if there's a mistake in the wallet, it's frequently something that isn't recoverable if the HNT is sent to a wallet. There's not a lot of forgiveness in the cryptocurrency space of amounts being sent to a typo in a wallet and things of that nature. So, do check it a few times just to be sure. Go back and forth with those first 3 and last 3 characters. Make sure you got it right, and then click Save Changes. Now, here's something that we've discovered that some people have missed is they've gone ahead and they put something in there. In some cases, they realize, oh my gosh, I actually did make a mistake. I'm missing the last character or something like that. And they go to do it again, and they go through all this. They click those 2 boxes and save changes, but it doesn't change. What's going on is that when you actually are trying to change an address that's been saved, it's going to trigger an email going to you at the email you have on record for your IHub account to make sure that you were the one that's changing the wallet. That's a security issue. We want to make sure. So a few of us were out there trying to change it multiple times before we realized that we better go look in our email and confirm that we want to change it. So that's what you need to do to get that in there. Do it today. If you've got Helium coming for June, go ahead, get it in. Even if it's a small amount, get it in, because it's a wonderful feeling to receive it. So that's what I wanted to cover on that account. Let me go ahead and move over to another screen. I'm going to go ahead and share this one, and we're going to talk about some of the items that Chuck was referring to. So this is logging into your back office. Now, how do you get here? You can see up here, it's my.ihub.global. That'll get you into a login page where you put in your email address and your iHub password and get you into this back office. And if you're new and you're doing this for the first time, what comes up when you first do this is you will see your free affiliate sign up link that you can use to refer other members to join you in iHub. Excuse me. So that's similar to the link that somebody sent you. You want to get that, do that, and then you can send it to others to register. I'm not going to go into the details of that right now. But what we want to talk about for sure is immediately when somebody signs up, number one, go ahead and reserve a hotspot. This will definitely come into play with our new model, because these will be some of the first units that will be evaluated for our host program as we're rolling it out in the next 30 days or so, or less, maybe, it depends, but probably in around 30 days. So you want to go ahead and put in your information. There's no cost to put this in, but most importantly, this installation address. get this information in. You can actually do more than one reservation, but you have to have a separate installation address for each one. So that's an important thing. Get that done. Get on in the queue for that. And then what we were talking about is for those of you that have already purchased units. There's two sources that you could have purchased units. And if you click on this provisioning means essentially the information that's programmed into the unit before it's shipped out to you. And there was two sources of orders. One was with our partner CalChip Connect, where a lot of people ordered units, single and multiple units, excuse me, through CalChip Connect. CalChip would have sent them a confirmation email with an order number, and they have something that's called the Caspio system that Chuck mentioned. That's yet another platform that we just love platforms, right? That's yet another platform where we go in order to put in our shipping and installation information and make sure it is correct. And I do want to go over that. You know, it's going to be different moving forward, as everything will be essentially done through the IHub side of things. But when you click on provision your orders, you'll see that there's CalChip order provisioning and provision my IHub orders. So IHub orders we're basically done for the US and Canada after the 28th of April. So if you had placed an order prior to April 28th, or if it was outside of the US, then it was within the CalChip order provisioning system. So when you go to this CalChip ordering provisioning system, when you first click on it, it's going to ask you to reset a password. It's not for your iHub back office. It's for this completely independent system that they created that just is to provide the correct shipping and installation information so that they can go ahead and program the units and get them out. And then assigned a unit name and a tracking number to the order to get that out there. So the first step you do is you click on password reset. When you do that, it's going to bring up a screen where it's asking for your email address. Now, this email address ideally is the email address that you used when you ordered your unit through CalChip, and that would be the email address that you received your confirmation order number from CalChip Connect. It hopefully is the same email address as iHub when you registered. That makes things a lot simpler. Sometimes they're different when people go ahead and place their order physically with CalChip. It's their browser sometimes does autofill, and it may have autofilled an email address that was different. But when you put your email address in here, and I'm just going to put one that I know is not in here. This is for my test email. If you click on it and you get a message in red that says it doesn't match what's in your records, then try your other email address, either the one in iHub, but definitely go back and take a look in your email from the order that the confirmation you got from CalChip. When you put in the correct email address, it will give you a note up here that says that they sent you a password reset to that email, and that link to set your password is good for 2 hours. If you don't get to it within 2 hours, just come back here and do it again. You can do it as often as you need to do it. But once you get that email, then it'll have a link in there for you to actually set your password for what's called the Caspio system. But it isn't necessarily clear that that's what it is, but that's what we talk about when we talk about provision your orders. And then after you get that password, you come back up here to update addresses for your order. This is where you're actually going in and looking at that information. And it says username. That's going to be the email address that you sent your password reset link to, and then your new password that'll log you into the system. And then you'll be able to go back there and take a look at the shipping address and the installation address and make sure everything is the way you want it. In some cases, people ordered units, a couple of months ago, even 3 months ago. Sometimes addresses change. You want to make sure that the addresses that are in there are the addresses where you want the units to go. We're expecting a lot of movement of units over the next 30 days. So basically make sure that you have that done correctly. You don't want them going to a wrong address. Okay. And then the other thing that's really important, well, let me just touch on provision my IHub orders. Okay. If you ordered after April 28th, it's going to take you to another site. This is one that John put together within our IHub system. And this is where you can go in and you can update a unit, taking a look at it. If you were to click on it, it's going to bring you the information on on what the ship to address is, the installation address. This one doesn't have an installation address, but you could put that in there if you wanted to. But this is something that I want to show you that we mentioned on the call the other night on Thursday, is that if you ordered 6-pack orders or even individual orders, you've got the ability to act on that based on what you want to do. If you want to go ahead and complete the order, then we'll reach out to you. Just for background information, for people that ordered those 6-pack orders, they put a $500 deposit down towards 6 units. And then if they want to get the 6-pack order, then they'll be notified in terms of the method on completing the balance of that order before it gets shipped out. We don't want to go ahead and have you go ahead and put money in right now until it's fairly soon to when the unit's going out. So stay tuned on that. But there's a couple of other options. If you click modify orders, then it will bring up the orders that you've got. Oh, wait a second, I need to go to a different screen. Sorry about that. This was my actual screen, but we set up a test page here. Okay, let me go ahead and share that screen. John put some orders into the account specifically for us to accomplish this. So we're going to go ahead and provision orders and provision IHub orders. And then we'll go to modify orders. And in this case, I've got one 6-pack order and one individual order. So what are the options? Here, one second, let me just move something off out of my way here. So you've got 2 options that you can act on now. That if you want to complete the order and pay the balance and take delivery of them, you'll be notified on the details on how to do that. But the other options you have right now is you can downgrade a 6-pack order to just the single order that you've already purchased with the deposit. If you want to do that, then you'll click on this single order. It'll bring up something to say, do you really want to do that? Or you can request a refund on that, and it'll also bring up something, do you really want to do that? And so you've got the option of 3 things on the 6-pack. You can complete it, you can downgrade it to 1, or you can refund it completely. On an individual order, you can refund it if you choose to. And I just want to put this into context because we're coming out with our hosted program where IHub is sending units out to locations that meet the qualifications with our new Helium Track software that show that it's a good location. That's a great thing for everybody. But not everybody that requests a location is going to get a location because it depends on what the score is. There are lots of things. If you watch the training today, I encourage you to do it if you haven't. The software is amazing, and it's going to give you tips on how to improve the score of a location. For somebody that's out in the middle of nowhere, and there's no other units around, if they submit one address, it's not going to get a very good score. But if they were to submit 3 or more addresses within close proximity, and they get scored as a group, it'll do really, really good from that point of view. But there's no guarantee that anybody that requests a host unit is going to be able to get it. It depends on the location, and it depends on the inventory available. When you've got a unit that you purchased, you've got a lot of flexibility. You can take those units, you can put it into a location, and then if they decide they want to get a host unit, then they could submit one from that. At that point, you've got really good visibility on what's going on. Of course, with all of our purchased units, It's following exactly the same IHub affiliate commission structure that we've been talking about all along, 50% to the owner, 10% to the referrer, and that sort of thing. And that will not change moving forward, but we will have a variation on that has to do with the hosted units. And that's what Chuck wants you to hang onto your seat for. So, but in any case, but some people may choose to say, you know, I don't want to buy a unit. I'm going to take my chance and get a free one. That's fine. We're happy to accommodate you. No questions asked. Feel free to go back here and do it. And this is how you do it. So I think what I want to do after this is the other very important thing that Chuck mentioned, and that's validating your new hotspots. Now I'm going to go back to my other thing because I don't have any data back here to validate a hotspot with, but I do in the other location. Let me just make sure I got that on my screen so I know how to find it. And let's share that. So what does validate a hotspot actually mean? So when we send these out, they've got a name, a 3-word name that we've got for the units, and but they're not put into the actual commission database because we want to make sure that the information is correct before we do it. So a person that ordered a unit, maybe somebody ordered 3 units, 1 unit, 6 units. And so when you validate your hotspots, it's going to bring up a list of the units that are assigned to you as the owner of those units. But you may not own all of those units. You may decide that some of those units you're going to transfer to other affiliates on your team or that you brought in personally, or it's also going to allow you to add a host to that if you want to. So let's just give an example of this update, what it looks like. And I'll point out what Chuck was talking about, and we'll see whether John is surprising us on this as this populates. It takes a little while to populate this page, but basically this will allow you to transfer a hotspot from the ownership to yourself to another individual's ownership. There's different reasons why you may want to do that. With our current host program, let's say that you bought 3 units, you've got a host, somebody's hosting one of your units, and they say, "Oh, thank you, John, fantastic," and they say, "Hey, where do I send my money? I want to buy this unit," and they pay you for your unit. You go into your back office. Now, this you can do from another location. This validate portion of it, what we're doing right now, is going to move this from this sort of holding pattern in the system into the commission engine so that it will actually start putting the information into the commission structure. Nobody's going to lose any helium. In fact, there's units that have dozens, even hundreds of helium tokens that are still in the validation queue, but it won't get paid until it goes into the commission view, the commission platform. So this needs to be done. So even if you're keeping it yourself, you just want to, leave it as it is. Here's if you're going to assign it to a host affiliate, they need to be an affiliate signed up with you to be able to do that. I mean, so you set them up as an affiliate, then you can transfer to a host where they'll get 10%, you'll get 50%, they'll get 10%. But you need to click this box here in order to validate it. And then click Save Changes. If you don't click the box, then all you're doing is passing the need to validate it to the new owner if you've changed ownership. And then they got to go and do this process themselves. So if you already know the disposition of this, and it can be changed after the fact, but it'll be changed in their back office. And I'll show you where to do that after the fact. So again, you want to check this box, which used to be kind of a little tiny box. Now it's, very, very much, hey, follow this red arrow and click here to save changes. And then it'll move into the commission engine. Okay. And that's a really good thing. So let's see. I think that's pretty much what I want to cover on this thing. There is one thing else I want to share. But before I stop on this piece, Chuck, is there anything else that you want to add, or John, relative to the sales and marketing portion of the back office?
No, I think all of that is very, very clear, Michael. And so, and we can start going over some of these chats. I've got a whole bunch of them that we can go to whenever you're ready. So,
Yeah, let me just show one last thing here real quick. I
okay.
just want to show you where you would change it after it's been validated so that you get a sense of where things are in the back office. I'm just going to log into my account so I could show you. Give me just a second here, and then I'll share that screen. All right. All right, so when you do log into your back office, just like I showed you where you get to your e-wallet to post in your wallet, under resources, you'll find something that says My Hotspots. And when you click on that, it'll bring up the hotspots that are assigned to you. And you have the option here of making those kinds of changes. You can change the owner and the host from here. So again, the validation queue is just to get it out of sort of this holding tank where nothing is happening to it. It's still accumulating helium, nothing is lost, but moving it into the commission engine so that it can go into the calculations and distribute the helium according to the way it's supposed to happen. So that's what I wanted to show you. So once you transfer it to somebody else and it's validated, they will find it under their hotspots. Or once you validate it yourself, you'll find it under your hotspots, under resources in the commission back office. So that's basically what I think we wanted to cover on this portion of it, Chuck. So we could go ahead and do some of these chats, some of the questions there, if you want to kind of lead the way on that, maybe read a couple that you think are appropriate.
Be happy to. Where will these trainings recordings be stored? Well, what we do, guys, is we download these and then we email them out to everybody. We also post them up on our Facebook page. So definitely go to the Facebook page and do that. You know, let's go back up to the top here. It says, will validating devices be necessary after IHub begins shipping free devices, which makes everyone a host? No. So, you know, you won't have to do that. So it's just during this period of time, right? If I sign up 1,000 hosts, will you send me 2 hotspots that you already have without me wait until September? No, I don't know. You know, every one of the hosts, let's talk about the free program for a second. You know, if you like, there's going to be some criteria, right? You're going to have to score. And I don't know if you were on the video, the Zoom this afternoon, but you're going to have to score it. I don't know where that needle has to fall in order for you to qualify to get a hotspot at no cost. Will there be hotspots also available for sale? Not that I know of, right? Not that I know of. That could change down the road, but at least for the foreseeable future, that won't be an option. We always have questions, and there's a lot of questions here about you know, other countries. Yeah, we'd love to go to other countries, but you know, quite frankly, we don't have enough inventory to even take care of the US market, the Australian market, which we're opening right now, New Zealand, and all of Europe and the UK. So going into South Africa, going into Asia, going into Japan, going into all the Mexico and South America and all the rest of the countries, will that be available? Absolutely. You know, once we get through this chip shortage, and if you haven't noticed, there's been a tremendous chip shortage. Just go look at your car lots in your local area, right? The car lots are empty, right? Because nobody is making cars because of the chip shortage. So it's been a huge, huge problem. And will it go away instantly? No. You know, it's going to go away over time. So Will you
Chuck,
Michael had said, will you still have to purchase the software, or is that an option?
the software is an option. Everybody will get a light version of it, but and the light version of it will have some assessments that you would get with the premium one, so that you get a chance to experience it. But the light version is very, very powerful. So yeah, you definitely get that. The pro version of it is optional. Hey Chuck, let me just go back to that one question.
Yeah.
About signing up 1,000 hosts to get the 2 that they ordered. Our goal is to fulfill every purchased unit prior to the first free host unit that's sent out from IHub.
Right.
And our goal is to get that accomplished as soon as possible. Inventory wise, we see the possibility in July, but we're already in the first week of July. And the bottom line is that even if the inventory is there, which we're anticipating, it does take time to program these units and ship it out. So it could be into mid-August before all that goes out. I mean, again, it's just a function of how many people are out, on there doing it. That's part of our partner's operation, doing the provisioning and shipping of those units. But just so you know, there's not going to be any of the host units going out until we get every other unit out first. So whether you do 1,000 hosts or do 0 hosts, your 2 units will get there, hopefully sometime in the next 4 to 5 weeks or so, ideally.
Michael, since there's so many people getting hotspots right now, can we talk about, and I know that wasn't part of this session, but can we talk about why we suggest people hooking them up via Ethernet as opposed to Wi-Fi in the beginning, why an antenna might be a great idea, and just kind of give some little tidbits, if you will, as to some things that people might not know.
All right. Well, I mean, you've shared multiple times about just using an Ethernet cable directly from your router to the box in order to get it connected very quickly at the most stable ability to do that. Because when you first hook these units up, it needs to sync with the Helium blockchain, and that can take a day or 2 depending on your internet connection. And if the internet connection goes out on a Wi-Fi situation, it may have to start all over again to make sure the whole thing gets there. Once it's synced to the internet, then there's much less data that needs to move forward to keep it going. I think that's the real important thing there. So Chuck, let me ask you a question on that, just to be clear. When somebody hooks it up to their Ethernet, do they need to use the Bluetooth to pair the phone with the unit in order to do that, or just hook it up to your Ethernet cable and away you go?
Away you go. You don't need anything, right? Plug it in and stick the cable on it, and it'll hook up all by itself. So that's the simplest way to do it.
And when you do that, it doesn't have to be in the ideal location. Right now, you're just trying to sync it completely with the blockchain. So if you got one area where your router is, but that's not going to be close to where you're going to actually just, put the unit in a window or something, go ahead and do it. It doesn't need to be having the radio connection in order to get the blockchain downloaded to the unit.
Yeah, I've also had people, order multiple. And they said, can I do that with all these before I go install them at my host's house, right? My uncle's house or my aunt's. Of course, yeah. Let the whole thing download right from your house. Let it all download. Then when you take it over there, bam, it's up and running in no time. So, so yeah, by all means, you can do that. Here's a question. I checked on the website, helium.place, and there seems to be someone very close to me, perhaps within 400 yards, who already has a hotspot. Though it shows offline status, I was hoping to install one at my home as well. Well, Michael?
Well, I mean, a couple of points about that. If it happens to fall within that 300-meter no witness zone, as they call it, it means that you won't be able to witness the transactions of that unit nor it of you, but it will allow you to interact with different units outside of that witnessing location. However, for the way I understand it, and I don't necessarily have this completely nailed down, this is a good question for Eric, is that the witnesses outside of that area that are witnessing the two of you, if you are in that 300-meter zone, I think can only witness one of the units at a time. So it will reduce potentially the number of witnesses that you're going to be receiving helium for, unless you just have so many in the area that you'll get an equal number that's both going to be kind of hitting the maximum that's going to benefit you anyway. So in an area where there's not a lot of units, you'll probably see a decrease in the amount of helium that happens. In an area where there are a bunch of units, I don't know if it'll make that much of a difference. But again, that's just sort of an educated guess at this point.
One of the questions that comes up all the time, guys, is, okay, I'm going to get this helium. Now, what do I do with it? Right. And, there's different exchanges and so on and so forth. There's Binance. If you're in New York, you're in Texas, you're in some states where Binance.us is not available. Let me just say that we're working on a platform, and we've had multiple discussions with the CEO of the hedge fund that actually owns this platform, and we are moving forward with it. It will enable you to, it's the coolest thing in the world, right? You're going to have a Visa card, right? You're going to have a Visa card, and you're going to be able to spend your helium instantly, whether it's at Starbucks or for a new jet. It won't make any difference. And all of those transactions will happen instantaneously. So they've got an incredible system. We hope to sign all the paperwork sometime this week and get it all announced. And what we're going to do is we're going to upload everybody's data into the system and give you access to it's all free, right? Give you access to this whole incredible platform. They already handle 4 or 5 different cryptocurrencies now. They're going to add helium to the portfolio. They've already done their due diligence. And so it won't matter whether you're in Texas, whether you're in New York, whether you're in Singapore, whether you're in any country, it'll all be, and beyond that, there's so many other great points to the system. It's like a PayPal, but with no fees, right? It's all peer-to-peer. So it's an amazing system. So don't fret, we've got your back. We know that that's always a big challenge. We know that most people like me can't figure out how to set up an account at Binance or any one of those places and upload passports and all of those other crazy things that have to be done. So, this was done for my benefit as much as it was done for your benefit, but it's all getting done. So Michael's been on a couple of those Zooms, and we'll hopefully knock that thing out here this week.
Yeah, really, it's an extraordinary prospect to be able to use a debit card and load your helium onto it. As far as exchanges go, yeah, you're right. Binance is really set up as a trading platform. So when you're buying and selling, you're really trading one cryptocurrency against another one, against a fiat currency and things of that nature. Just from my experience, there's another platform out there that's called uphold.com, that I've been using for a number of years now. They've got a new version of it that's kind of a Binance version of it, that's a trading platform that looks very similar, but you can switch to their classic view, and their classic view is so simple. If you want to move helium into the account and convert it into dollars, it's like an instantaneous, simple thing without having to figure a bunch of stuff out. It is so intuitive on that. So for people that are just wanting to be able to do that, not necessarily wanting to get into the whole trading aspect of it, but they still have the option to. Uphold is really a great way to go. Just remember to switch it, the view, to the classic view, and it'll be like so simple. So that's a good thing to know.
I'm looking through some of the questions about taxable events and so on and so forth. I don't want to get into the tax consequences of earning helium, but it is taxed, right? It is income. So we'll have a session specifically on that. It says, if I can't use a hotspot due to living in the country, can I still set up clients to use free hotspots? Yeah, of course. We're going to show you how you can make a six-figure income just by referring other people that get a free hotspot. I mean, that really is the message, and that's the message that we're going to really sing loud and clear moving forward. Because it's extraordinary. I mean, no other company has got what we've got. So it said, I ordered a second unit today with the same installation address, planning to change that before shipping. Do we have, let's talk about that for a second. Yes, you can order, well, you used to be able to order, you can't order them anymore. You can reserve, but you can, if you order it with the same address, they won't provision it to the same address, right? You can have them sent to you without being provisioned, without that installation address being installed on that unit, and then pay $25 to have that hotspot address changed. Michael, you want to show them that change form?
Yeah, sure. Give me just a second to set that up.
So there's a change form in the back office, and it's just a matter of someone at our office in Florida going through and doing. We've got to do it manually, and we've got to do it through Helium on the blockchain. And it's not free, but it's a $25 charge. But they charge us, but they charge us in Helium, not in dollars. So there's that number 4, the hotspot address change. Right.
Yeah. So if you've got a unit that either it doesn't have an installation address programmed in it, or you need to change it, then you click number 4, address change. It'll bring up a list of your units. You click address change, and then it's pretty straightforward. Your contact information, the new installation address information, and then you're going to go ahead and put in your card information. Again, it's $25, as Chuck said. Then you complete the order. And these guys are really amazing on how quickly they turn those around. Now, as far as the blockchain goes, it could take a little bit of time before it shows up on the Helium application with the new address. But things do go fairly quickly into that process. So,
okay, well, it says, how much does a 6-pack cost? Well, 6 times $500 plus shipping and handling. So if you've already paid $500 down, there's an option on there. Is that I don't think that option is live right now, Michael. Is that right? Or
no, not the payment option isn't live yet. John says that as we get closer to shipping, then we'll go ahead and
take their money.
Send them information, and then there'll be the link information in that same location that provision your IHub units, in terms of how to complete the order.
Okay. The free Helium miners are going to be rack miners version 2, or the upcoming Helium light miners. Michael, that's your question.
Well, it's going to be a combination of that. The light miners aren't out yet. Look for the light miners coming towards the end of the year, the last month or 2 of the year, and the first quarter into 2022. And what the light miner is, it's exactly the same thing, but it doesn't have to have as much memory and storage in it, because we'll no longer have to sync the entire blockchain into the unit. As the network is growing so rapidly, it's becoming cumbersome for the network. It's making it sluggish for every unit to have the Helium blockchain in its entirety in the units. And that's the basis of this whole thing that you've probably been hearing about, where they're talking about validators, where they're moving a lot of that process up into the cloud. So it'll make things a lot faster, but it's basically the same unit. It's got the same issues with the chip shortages out there. They use the same chips from that point of view, but that'll be happening. But meanwhile, between now and the end of the year, we're going to have a variety of different models that are available that we send out, because frankly, we're getting every single one we can possibly get, whether it's a rack or whether it's a few of the other brands that our partner CalChip is working with. They've been working over the last 6 months or so with bringing in alternative manufacturers for supply chain, making sure that we got all the I's dotted and T's crossed to go out there. So we're kind of buying a variety of units, and we're pretty happy to get whatever we can get. Some of them, unfortunate to us, is they're considerably more expensive than the rack units right now, but it's not going to change anything when we send those out for someone's free host unit. It'll still be the same exact situation, but some of them are kind of pricey in the meantime, but hey, we want to get units. And there's, it's just a matter of how much of the supply chain can we really be able to have access to. And that's what we're really putting together for the long-term success of this company for everyone involved.
Yeah, let me also just address a couple of things. If you go out and you start searching the internet, you're going to see all kinds of clowns up there trying to convince you that IHub is a scam, right? It's a pyramid scheme. It's all of these crazy, nonsensical things because we're sucking a lot of the oxygen out of the industry, and a lot of people are gravitating towards us because we've got a model that actually works. So, this one YouTube guy today, somebody sent me his link, and I listened to his nonsense. And then I sent him a comment, and I said, I'd be happy to challenge you to a debate, one-on-one debate. Let's go. And I haven't heard back from him yet, but he was a kid of about 18 years old. So I think I can hold my own. So anyway,
watch out with those 18-year-olds, Chuck.
Yeah. So there's just a lot of things out there that most people don't understand leverage, right? When you understand that you would rather earn a small percentage off of lots of hotspots than 100% of your own hotspot, then it becomes crystal clear, right? But most people, including him, aren't intelligent enough to actually figure that out because they don't have that opportunity to offer. When one of his friends buys a hotspot, he winds up getting his percentage, and the person that referred him got nothing. So, and that was the problem with the original hotspot or Helium model altogether. So let's say that, I change? Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, just a real quick question was a follow-on on the light miners, where the person said, but I thought the light miners didn't have the same earning potential. That's a little bit of a miscommunication. The light miners will have exactly the same earning potential as the full ones. In fact, once the light miners are operational, every unit will essentially become a light miner as far as no longer having the blockchain go into it. But there was another category of miner that was considered like a do-it-yourself miner that can move data, that can move IoT data from an IoT device using the LoRa gateway and get it to the internet, but didn't do the proof of coverage. And so there were some people that somehow kind of thought that that's what they were talking about relative to the light miners, but no, that's completely wrong. The light miners will basically have the same operational proof of coverage algorithms as the existing units.
So can I change new host installation address in my back office and just pay $25? If you if you want to change something in the Caspio system, the provisioning system right now, you can do that free of charge, right? Doesn't cost you a dime. Only after something has been provisioned and it's been shipped out to you and you put it somewhere. So, you know, what we used to have to do prior to having the Helium Track software is a trial and error, right? Let's try it here. Let's try it there. I set one up to my buddy in Brooklyn. Well, it wasn't too good at his house because there are too many other hotspots around. So he wasn't, so we took it and we brought it to his mother's house, and same thing in San Francisco and so on. And so it was a trial and error, right? And every time we moved that, it cost $25. With the new software, we won't have that trial and error any longer. We're going to be able to look at it and make that determination based on that score, whether or not that location. Now, will it always be a good location? Who knows, right? You know, I found one the other day. I mean, what are the chances of this? I had a person living in a building in San Francisco that had a hotspot that was doing very well. And the person on the other side of town, her mother lived in that very same building. Well, her hotspot wasn't doing well because, so we moved it to her mother's house. And guess what? Now I've got two hotspots in the same building, and they both kind of, you know, are both in each
What's
other.
available.
Yeah. So I'm telling her, let's go find somebody else that you know instead of your mother, and let's move it to their house. But what are the chances of that, right? And I had to, I said, it's the same building, same streets, same, you know, so kind of funny. So, hey guys, we hope that you got a lot of information. I know there's a lot more questions and a lot of hands that are raised, and unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get to all of those things. I say that, you know, a good point of reference here to get some basic information is to go to helium.com. Go to helium.com and start reading through some of the information. There's lots of information up there. You can dig down as deep as you want to dig in the Helium website, and lots of tons and tons of great information. And then secondly, I would, you know, spend some time in your back office looking at things. We've got some information up there on antennas. I just changed out my antenna. I had a high powered one. It was blowing right, my signal was blowing right by everybody, and I wasn't connecting. And so I changed it and raised it up another 10 feet. And now I'm connecting with everybody. The first 24 hours, I knocked out 4.35 helium in the first 24 hours after I changed. So it makes all the difference in the world. So height and having that antenna, and what we're seeing, everybody always asks, well, which antenna is the best? We seem to find that 5.8 dBi antenna is just the right amount of signal, right, that gets out there and encompasses the other hotspots that are surrounding or maybe surrounding your area. So guys, Thursday night, all I can say is that you're going to hear some things Thursday night that you will not want to miss. So make sure that you grab a seat early. We'll get the room opened up early. We're expecting a sold out. We've got 1,000 seats in that room on Thursday night. And I have no doubt that we'll be turning people away that won't be able to get in. But the other good part is that we always record it, and we will get it up and out to everybody. So Michael, thank you very much for all the great information. Couldn't do this without you. And, you know, who would have guessed last August when you asked me that question, would I like to own a piece of the next internet, that this would be the result of
I know. It's amazing.
Of that,
Life is amazing.
of that question. So anyway, you just never know what
You never know.
happens. So with that, hey guys, thanks Autumn, thanks John for hanging in there with us, and we'll see you guys Thursday night. Let's see, did we decide we were going to do a biz up at 5 o'clock on Wednesdays? Did we decide that was
I don't know.
on the schedule? Let's put it on the schedule. We're going to do a biz up presentation 5 p.m. East Coast time on Wednesday, right? So it's not going to be up on the website unless John can get it put in there.
So is that replacing the
Tuesday and Thursday?
the Tuesday and Thursday. So we're going to do it one time on Wednesday.
One time on Wednesday.
Okay.
Because otherwise we're zoomed out, man.
I know.
I can't keep track of all the Zooms. So, hey guys, thank you very much for hanging with us, and look forward to getting to meet all of you one of these days at yes, the big event, right? The big event. Just keep saying the big event is coming. So it's definitely going to happen. So with that, Michael, Autumn, John, thank you very much. And we'll see you guys, if not before, positively on Thursday night. So with that, see you everybody. Thanks, guys. Good night.
Good night.